Real Talk Sports.
Go on you.
We are Real Talk Sports, baby. It's pod number 11. It's week 4 of the NFL season. Things is grinding and grooving, and I went about 40% on my picks last week. So, needless to say, I need to tighten up.
It's not that you gotta tighten up, man. It's just the fact that it's 2 weeks into the season. 3 weeks into the season, you don't really have a great idea of who is the best team. You know?
Apparently, the Arizona Cardinals. But before I get off task,
I called that one. I called that.
Let me introduce the players. Mr. I called that. He hate me. Ladies and gentlemen, Vicente Fernandez.
Hey man, it's Vinny over here, aka V Kid, aka V Kid that dude, aka Retro Crotch. Let's keep it moving.
Retro Crotch. Whole nother show, whole nother story. And next up, since we call him Retro Crotch, we gotta call out the Puerto Rican Deacon. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, Luis Fernandez.
Man, I don't think I got one damn game right last week.
Right.
ESPN won't be calling that.
Nah, not this week. This ain't the tape you sent.
No.
This ain't the tape. I might send them like week 6, week 7. Yeah, week 3, we gonna let that one just get pushed to the archives. But yeah, we gonna get right into it, man. NFL season. Week 4, we're gonna first go over our slate from last week, give you the scores.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. Oh yeah, wait. The biggest news of the week. Vinny, tell them what happened last night.
Thank God.
Thank
the football guys. Because the NFL referees are back. It's a bittersweet feeling because it's like, you had these assholes who just tore up the game of football. And now you have another set of assholes who could possibly do the same exact thing.
Yeah.
We don't know what the hell these replacements, the old refs are going to do.
Not Ed Hockley. What do you mean? The face.
The way they're hyping up these refs, though, they're making them seem like they're super refs. They're robots. They're not going to get any call wrong.
Hey, man, they're getting paid $150,000 a year.
Well, I mean, I'm happy that they're back, but I want people to temper their expectations. Yeah. People are expecting them to be the greatest thing in the world. These guys are, they're human. But we're not going to see that shit that happened on Monday.
No more lingerie leaguers.
Oh my God.
No more YMCA superstars.
Oh my God. I have a problem with a few players. Pete Carroll, coach.
Yeah.
Coach of the Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson, quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks. Golden Tate. A receiver of the Seattle Seahawks. Y'all are cheaters and liars.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that story. Wait a minute.
What do you expect them to say?
I don't want them to lie.
Not yet.
On national TV. Don't tell me that, I have the ball. Don't tell me that you didn't know that you committed pass interference. You didn't know you pushed the man to the ground before the catch went up. You were not sure if that you both had simultaneous control
simultaneous of the ball. Catch, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I've lost control of the show. I was trying to get to that game before we explained it.
No.
We'll start there.
Let's start right
there. In a dramatic and one of the worst call games I've ever witnessed in my career.
I don't even call it dramatic. I call it a travesty. It's disrespectful.
For those of you that don't know.
It insulted my intelligence.
The Seattle Seahawks beat the Green Bay Packers.
They did not beat the Green Bay Packers.
They did not beat them, but
quotation marks
on
beat,
paper.
Around beat.
Right, the same way that Pete Rose beat the odds when he was betting.
Same way that the Chicago Black Sox? How they beat the team in the World Series in the 1910s or whatever? 1919. There you go.
Yeah, the Seattle Seahawks beat the Packers 14-12 with a very, 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 very poor calls into the game. And there were a lot of poor calls during the game.
I wouldn't even call it
Well, there were 24 penalties in this
24
game?
penalties.
There were, okay, I'll tell you this. I was watching the game. Mm-hmm. I was also on Twitter at the same time. I tweet, VK, that dude is my name. If you want to find me on Twitter.
He's the guy with the pink shirt on.
Oh, man. But when I was watching the game, it was just like I had a slew of people. I follow most of the football analysts. I follow a lot of friends who are also big fans of NFL, of course.
Right.
But there was a huge problem, man. Pass interference calls that were non-existent. Holding penalties that weren't called, blows to the head. Yeah. You had a lot of calls that just weren't even being called or were being called and it wasn't there. Yeah. It was like these officials didn't know what they were calling.
Pretty much they had like Muhammad Ali reffing the game.
No, I find it more like Stevie Wonder.
So are you saying that the refs were very superstitious?
Okay, we digress. I only have one more thing to say about the whole replacement ref situation. I have been wrong. I have to apologize because I have been very disrespectful to Mr. Roger Goodell. I have always thought it was his fault. I have gotten information that now it is every NFL owner.
Yeah, the owners.
It's the owners.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why this deal hasn't gone through. And I'm deeply ashamed and disappointed to be a fan of the NFL.
Yeah, the owners, they know that even with the replacing the rest of the hype, they're still making money. The NFL is such an engine that right now, at the point that they're at, they know that the fans are not going to turn on.
Well, I just don't think that they realize that their product has such a there's so much pride in the NFL.
Absolutely.
And they disrespected the fact that they talk big shit.
Mm-hmm. They walk around with the big dick.
Yeah, and I like the way that Stephen A. Smith portrayed it. Like the way the NFL did it.
Yeah,
it was a steak, a beautiful looking steak, with gravy on it, onions, all that good stuff.
Yeah, all the good stuff.
Presented on a trash can. The way they presented it was just disgusting.
Mm-hmm. Well, what it turned out, the deal that they made in the end, my understanding is that it's going to cost each team about a little over $100,000. That's what this was all about.
Okay, so basically a backup kicker.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. So I mean, it was a total waste of time. It's like pick your battles. And you would think that people that have that kind of money and that kind of stature in society would be a little less petty.
It was a lot of arrogance.
But these guys keep the money. Like there, it was another analyst talking, and it was like, I think people are under the misconception that owners are good people.
Good people.
They're not. They're sharks.
That's why they're owners. That's why they
have the money they
filthy
have.
Rich.
Well, but yeah, man, it was a rough game to watch because there were some high moments. I give Russell Wilson credit for his first touchdown pass. It was beautiful.
Well, what happened was it seemed in the first half the Seahawks had complete control. Mm-hmm. Then the second half, the Packers they made a change.
Yep.
They started running the ball. They adjusted. They started running the ball. Cedric Benson, they were being ground and pound, which the Jets should be, but they're not.
Okay. Shout out to Bruce Irvin.
Oh,
I understand why they picked him first in the first round. Chris Clemens.
Oh man, these guys were playing lights out.
They broke the record of sacks on Aaron Rodgers in the first quarter.
8 sacks in the first half.
Oh my God!
Aaron Rodgers has never. I don't think he's ever been in that kind.
But I think Chris Clemens got either 2 or 3 back to back.
Well, he got a taste of what Mark Sanchez gets every Sunday.
Oh man, we gotta stop shooting down the chest like this, man.
Yeah, lose on a bender right now.
It was like Wayne Hunter was picked up by the Packers.
We're gonna get to the Jets, but yeah, we gotta finish this game. It was a huge game, man, and it went back and forth.
But in the second half, the Packers came out front. They
dominated.
They dominated. All right, and I feel that they really deserve that win because they played so well. And you're telling me that these replacement referees are gonna, even if it's a tough call, people say it's a tough call. People have told me about the rules. I know what the rule is.
It wasn't that tough.
I know what the rule is. It wasn't that tough of a call.
It wasn't that tough.
If more than 95% of the population
in the United States of America.
Well, here's the thing. My problem with the whole thing was not necessarily as much with the replacement refs. The shocking part was the referee in the booth. The one who was looking at that video and seeing it from all the angles I'm seeing it from.
Man.
The angles I see it from, we don't agree at all with what actually happened. There was no simultaneous reception.
No.
Okay, Jennings clearly had the ball in his chest. He had 2 hands around it.
Even if Ted had one hand on it, that's not simultaneous.
That's not simultaneous. One hand is not simultaneous. If one person
has it on their chest, I mean, that's a catch.
Right.
And to give you guys the backstory, what we're talking about completely, for those of you who don't know, if you've been living under a rock.
You have this on
living under a rock. What happened was the Seahawks were down. It was 7-12. The Packers were winning. It was the final play of the game. It was a Hail Mary.
Hail Mary pass.
About
7-8.
Golden Tate is going into the end zone. And there's about 3 or 4 Packers waiting on him. He pushes one in the back, gets rid of him, and immediately as the ball is at its peak in the end zone, M.D. Jennings, the cornerback for the Green Bay Packers, has the ball in his possession solely by itself. Then as he comes down, he brings the ball into his body. And Golden Tate sticks his arm in there and wraps up with him. Now, M.D. Jennings did not lose control of the ball. When they hit the ground, one referee decides to throw his hands up
for a touchdown,
and the other referee waves it off for a touchback.
A touchback, end of game over.
Game over. So they go to the booth, they review the play, and they still keep it a touchdown.
Now, Pete Carroll, there's an image. I'll remember it for the rest of my life probably, because this is one of the worst.
For the rest of his life.
This is one of the worst calls I've ever experienced. Like, I thought the NBA was bad. All right. The fact that Pete Carroll is celebrating this win, I'm disgusted.
I mean, he has to.
No, I don't think so, because there is an integrity of the NFL. All right, there's an integrity.
Wait a minute, integrity in Pete Carroll? Do you remember how he left his last program?
But there's an integrity not in the NFL football, but there's an integrity in just the game of football. For you to take credit for a game that you know you didn't win, I wouldn't feel right.
And again, I say, go talk to some USC heads and see how they feel about Pete Carroll jumping ship.
Like I just feel that if this was Mike Tomlin, if this was a Rex Ryan, if this was another coach, who has a strong, a Harbaugh, one of the Harbaugh brothers or something. See, I don't think those guys would have
celebrated like that.
No, of course not. And I love the way Mike McCarthy handled himself. I love it.
Oh yeah,
because he was apparently upset, obviously upset.
Yeah. Shout out to the Packers coach Mike McCarthy.
But he kept it really business-like, because that's what it had to be.
That's all it is.
You got to get ready for next week. He stated, this is the NFL. Any game go anyway. This is a privilege to play. He really took the high road. He really took the high road.
The whole Packers organization, even the president, because the president somebody had to say something.
Well, everybody except TJ Lang.
Woo!
TJ Lang went in. He went on Twitter immediately after the game.
And TJ Lang, I'm gonna need his jersey autographed.
He had his iPhone in his locker.
Yeah, he went in and he pretty much said that they're gonna sabotage the next couple games if we don't get the new referee, the regular referees back in the fold.
Well, I think that if nothing else could have made this move, that was the killer.
Yeah, this game immediately when Goodell seen MD Jennings was handling the ball, he picked up his phone. He was like, "Yo, get Hockley. Tell him we gonna work this out. I'll meet him at his house."
I just feel that
line.
I just feel that there has to be something for the Packers, man. I mean, these guys have a 1-2 record now off a play that should have been called. This game has playoff implications.
Well, in the rule book, Article 7, I don't remember the specific actual number of the rule, but Goodell has the power to veto and to change the outcome of the game. He has the power to do that.
Then why hasn't he? See, now I just went from, I'm not going to be mad at Roger Goodell, to I hate the guts.
Yeah, no, Mike and Mike brought it up.
I gave you points, Roger Goodell. You just fucked it up.
Shout out to Mike and Mike. They went through the rule book, and the rule book states that Goodell, the commissioner and the commissioner only, has the sole power to change the outcome of any game.
For you to have power and for you to not, I just find it.
That means he doesn't have it. Basically he doesn't have
it.
But
the he would have took on the back end, because then you're going to have teams like, well, you need to change this. Right. We need to go back and do that.
But open up Pandora's box. They just want to move on from it. Yeah. And the good part is it ended the lockout. And now the regular referee.
But that still doesn't take it away.
That's the whole reason why.
That's why he did that. Yeah. It's a PR move.
Yeah.
Roger Goodell's going to run for president.
Yeah, it's like rather than let's just move away from it, and now basically you start the season all over again. Yeah. Not only now with the real refs.
And we will have the real refs tonight for the Thursday night game. So we're gonna keep going down the slate because I don't want us to get too off task. But that was a huge story. That was really the biggest game of the week. Right. The biggest information to come out of NFL. The real referees are back in place. They have an 8-year deal, and that's the longest that they've ever given the referees. And I believe by 2019, their salaries will be up to over $200,000. So they're taken care of.
Great win for the.
They're taken care of. The referees, a lot of referees doing a lot of drugs right now.
Oh yeah, man, they getting paper, man.
So next up, we're gonna go down the slate from last week. The New York Football Giants, of course, we glazed over that. Blew out the Carolina Panthers 36-7. I believe Cam Newton had something like 20 yards in the game.
I love this line from the last week's about the Panthers. It says Cam Newton is enduring a start to his second season with the Carolina Panthers that's been so difficult that he's been forced to deny that he's seeing a therapist.
No, Cam, it's okay, baby. Losing is a part of growth. Losing is a part of growth.
Well, he's a guy who's never lost before.
I understand that, but
big hit to his ego.
Yeah, it's all good. But some up and comers came out against these Panthers. That boy Andre Brown, my God, 2 TDs.
Ahmad Bradshaw is back this coming week, so we're not going to see that Andre Brown anymore. Yeah. And Akeem Nicks is also coming back, so we're not going to see that Ramses Barton.
But you know what? Just a little tidbit for later on in the show.
But this just shows how deep the Giants are.
Oh, yeah. Ramses Barton played against the rookie cornerback that they have starting for Carolina, Josh Norman, out of Coastal Carolina. And he torched him. And
ate him up.
The Carolina Panthers played Atlanta Falcons this week. And Josh Norman is starting again.
Woo! Who we checking? Julio? Do the Julio.
But that's just a sidebar. I don't want to get off task. I just thought I'd throw that out there. Next up, Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Indianapolis Colts 22-17.
I didn't expect that.
I didn't either. But any given Sunday.
But MJD, if MJD comes out and gives you almost 200 yards rushing,
Marius Jones-Drew, as he goes, so do the Jacksonville Jaguars at this point.
Well, I still expect it. I expect a guy like Justin Blackman to step up. I mean, MJD is still the workhorse of that team, and Blaine Gabbert's having a better year, but still,
Blaine Gabbert needs a couple of years.
But it's good that the Jaguars won because I had them in the running to get Matt Barkley next year.
Yeah, they needed that. I still have Miami in the running to get Matt Barkley.
And I think the Colts still have some time to get it together.
Yeah. You don't like Geno Smith, man?
Boy, bye.
And the next slate, the Buffalo Bills defeated the Cleveland Browns 24-14. I don't think that was a real shocker.
Who's in it? Brandon Weeden.
I don't think it's a real shocker. There's not much to say about that game.
The 0-3 Cleveland Browns?
I mean, the Cleveland Browns, man, I don't know what they can do.
The New York Jets defeated the Miami Dolphins in overtime. Now, this was a big game for a lot of different reasons.
This was one of the
luckiest wins in luckiest wins in Jet history.
How the Jets won this game, I don't know. Miami Dolphins fans are irate that the Dolphins just gave up this game because they had it in the palm of their hands.
But the Jets had some key losses. The Jets lost their stalwart, their defensive quarterback. Revis Island has been sent into the abyss. Darrelle Revis is lost for the season with the torn ACL.
It's very tough when you see one of the greatest cornerbacks, in the NFL.
And he got a lot of love from the players. Yeah. A lot of players. I remember Stevie Johnson sent out a tweet. And he said, "Man, I'm mad I don't get to go against you this year." He said, "I like to fashion myself against the best."
Well, that's what I'm saying. He has a reputation in the NFL where he is one of the best. And it's sad, I'm very upset, but I think it's gonna be okay.
It's a tough blow for the Jets, and I hear that they're moving their tailback, Joe McKnight, the cornerback.
Yes, that's the answer. Joe McKnight is the new cornerback.
And he's the new cornerback now.
Purportedly, he's pretty sad about it.
He's sad? Wait a minute, I didn't hear that. Time out. So
he's upset.
You're moving a player who's already marginal as it is to cornerback, and he doesn't want to. That's not a position you go into when you don't want to play.
Well, I'm saying he wants to be a running back. He thinks he's a running back. The Jets just don't see him in that role because he's not. They picked up another free agent, Jonathan Grimes, from the Houston Texans. He used to be on the Houston Texans squad. But just the fact that I didn't know where to put McKnight. He's one of those all-around athletes. He can do everything. Yeah. He can play cornerback. But him being sad about it, I don't think that shows good for his success.
No.
And I think pretty soon you might see a dropping of Joe McKnight if he doesn't want to play cornerback.
He got to be able to tackle. That's my problem. That's
he plays special teams, and he's tackled before. It's not like he has never tackled. He plays special teams. He's had to make tackles. He's done a pretty good job.
It's a little bit different of a monster when you're one-on-one with
you think the Jets are going to put him one-on-one? No. I mean, he could be somebody who can play zone or something.
I understand that, but certain situations, if he gets the wrong matchup at the right time.
Well, I think the Jets will be all right.
No, you still got Cromartie. You still got Kyle Wilson.
Kyle Wilson, yeah, I think he's solid. I think he'll do it all right.
Well, I disagree with that totally. I think the season is over.
He's always so over. He's over.
I think the season is over.
He's just a diehard fan.
I don't think that they're going to make the playoffs. The only way that's going to happen is if that defense steps up big time.
See, I don't think it's the defense that needs to step up. I think it's the offense.
Yeah, I got the scoreboard.
I think the offense will come around because you have a very inexperienced wide receiving core. The offensive line has shown that it can do,
That's one of the few surprises of the season that the offensive line has.
The offensive line has held up pretty well.
Well, that was big. The guy that y'all had behind Wayne Hunter to start now.
Austin Howard.
That's huge.
He's stabilized.
That's huge.
So That's that.
I mean, that was our biggest hole.
Yeah, it was just Wayne Hunter, man. He was just stupid or something. Like, he was retarded. Like, I don't know what the fuck's wrong.
I think after
Jason Smith as well. I think Jason Smith has done a very solid job.
Change of scenery does a lot for a player.
But how the Jets got Wayne Hunter for Jason Smith, I'm still.
Yeah, that's the top blower.
I'm still tripping.
We're gonna keep it moving because we're gonna get to the Jets in full.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we're gonna keep it moving down the slate.
About the Jets.
Yeah, definitely.
No, Tim Tebow talk. I'll just let y'all know. We talk Jets. You know we're Jets fans. We don't talk Tebow. Get the fuck out of here.
Y'all need Tebow. Next up on the slate, the Kansas City Chiefs, 27. The New Orleans Saints, 24. Lost in overtime. New Orleans had this game in the palm of their hands. They had this game, and they were in the Superdome.
I didn't see that coming. I thought that the Saints played.
Didn't you make a prediction about that game?
Well, I mean, it happened. It happened. The Saints were blowing out the Chiefs. They were. But something happened. I think Roman Harper, he got caught cramp.
The old cramp trick.
Tracy Porter caught a cramp. Man.
Tracy Porter's not even on the team anymore, sir. Tracy Porter's in Denver with Peyton loving it. He's looking good.
Anyway, but the Saints.
Yeah, I'm shocked. The Saints are down 0-3. I never would have put the Saints in that hole. And Saints, I'm a Falcons fan. That's our biggest rival. I would never expect them to have this drop off.
That shows you how big your head coach is.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sean Payton, I know you're somewhere grinning. Coaching your son's team, you're probably undefeated right now.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Next up on the slate, Cincinnati Bengals atop the Washington Redskins, 38-31. Andy Dalton and AJ Green look good.
Oh man, I thought RG3 was gonna come out better than this, but like they all said, you need a team. It takes a team.
But he still put up 31 points.
I mean, he had a very good game, no doubt. But I thought that he could will this team. But it's the defense, man. That Bengals defense played. They didn't play great, but they played good enough. And that Redskins defense is non-existent. They couldn't stop the nosebleed.
Right. Yeah.
And next up. Very disappointing for me. The Detroit Lions lose to the effing Tennessee Titans in overtime.
The Detroit Lions played last week?
Yeah, no, they didn't. 41-44, they lose in overtime. Matt Stafford goes down. Sean Hill comes in, and he fills in admirably. He throws for 170 yards, 2 touchdowns, and they still lose. They scored 25 points in the fourth quarter.
But they surrendered 437 yards and a league record 5 scoring plays of 60 or more yards, 2 of them on passes.
Yep.
Man.
My thing is that all these points were scored, all these yards were mustered, but Chris Johnson only had about 46 yards this entire game.
Yeah.
How the Tennessee Titans...
The backup running back had more than Chris Johnson.
Yeah. How the Tennessee Titans could basically go buck wild on offense without using Chris Johnson, that baffles me totally. And that just shows
Jake Locker moving that pocket.
Jake Locker is a good player.
The only person that put a hand on Jake Locker.
Disagree.
Jake Locker was tackled one time the whole game by Ndamukong Suh. That was it. Nobody else on the defensive line touched Jake Locker.
What's happening with Nick Fairley, man?
Nobody on the defensive line touched him. Fairley said his first statement was, "I'm disappointed in my game." He said, "I didn't stick to the game plan like I should have. I only, he had a couple tackles, but for him, he was the only one to touch Jake Locker." First off, secondly, we have not had an interception in the secondary this season.
That's what you expect when you have
this season.
That's what you should expect when you have a makeshift secondary.
Yeah, we got Chris Houston still starting, and you have a rookie, Bill Bentley, starting on the other side, and he's been on and off the injury list. And both of our safeties are down. Amari Spivey, he's been trying to play. He looked bad.
Delmas looked
horrible. He's still hurt. He's trying to come back.
He had knee surgery last month.
Yeah,
but that pass had nothing to do with his knee. That had something to do with just his brain. How do you not know somebody catches the ball behind your head?
Take it easy, baby. Take it easy. Yeah. So in the place of those two, we got Eric Coleman and John Windley.
But the biggest fear is Matthew Stafford's hit.
Yeah. He tried to make a tackle after an interception. Don't do that. Don't do that, Staff. I love you. I appreciate the effort, but let somebody else tackle. Yeah. He made the tackle after the interception, and he hurt his hip. So he's questionable for this upcoming game. So I still have faith in my Lions. Michael LaSure played well.
He played very well.
He rushed over 100 yards his first time in his career.
I didn't think he was going to start. You know, they're saying he's going to get touched, but they put him.
They've already moved him up the depth chart over Kevin Smith already. Yeah. So we'll take it.
Well, if they can give up less than 30 points in a game, they're allowing 31.3 points a game. They have a shot. And even with Sean Hill is a very serviceable
very good
backup.
Yeah. He has been for years.
Mm-hmm.
Heartbreaker. I expect a lot more out of Detroit. They just haven't looked together. They look like a scattered team.
Well, I haven't seen them use Calvin Johnson like they did last year. It seems that people are zoning in on him on the deep balls. They're not letting him throw it deep. And guys like Nate Burleson, Brandon Pettigrew, how do you get a ball stripped from your arms? You know, like, come on, dude.
Yeah, they just took that ball
out of the man's hand.
And we only have one active tight end on the roster right now. Tony Sheffield is hurt, the other tight end. Brandon Pettigrew is the only tight end on the active roster.
See, I don't like that. And I don't like the fact that these other receivers, Titus Young did get a touchdown catch, but that was bullshit.
Yeah, the stats drop off. Megatron has 363 yards receiving thus far. After him, the next leading receiver is tight end. And he has 164 yards. I mean, one touchdown. And then from there, it gets lower and lower.
It's tough when you only got Calvin Johnson, and especially if you can't get him deep. You know, it doesn't matter.
So, come on, Lions. Let's go do what we got to do. If y'all got to go see that man at that house with the no windows that's boarded up, go see him. Whatever y'all got to do. Next up on the slate, San Francisco 49ers versus the Minnesota Vikings. This game blew my top. Before we even go into the score, this game blew my top because I will be the first to tell you I did not give the Vikings a chance in this game.
Chance in hell.
The Vikings won this game, ladies and gentlemen, 24-13, and in a surprising fashion. They dominated the 49ers.
But they have some of the best players in the NFL playing on their team right now. Ponder is second in the NFL with a 70.1 completion percentage. Fifth in passer rating at 104.9. He went 21 for 35 for 198 yards and 2 touchdowns and rushed for another touchdown.
Yeah. He's playing like he deserves to start.
And there's a fella by the name of Adrian Peterson in the backfield. He's made a Superman-ish type recovery from a knee injury. Already has 230 yards in 3 games.
Yeah. He better not be juiced.
And Percy Harvin has a league high 27 receptions and is 4th in kickoff return average, 30 yards a kickoff return.
Minnesota Vikings.
The Vikings are the shit.
Shout out to y'all, definitely. And we're gonna keep going down the slate. The St. Louis Rams, 6 points. The Chicago Bears, 23.
The Bears.
This was an easy game for the Bears.
If they didn't win that game,
this is the easy game for the Bears.
Even so, Jay Cutler has been having a very dismal season. Even with that win, he still doesn't look good.
They didn't look good. The Bears didn't look good. I watched that game.
The Rams just looked bad.
Yeah, the Rams just looked bad.
You know, you had Steven Jackson, he got hurt, and they had to bring in Daryl Richardson. You know, they brought in Daryl Richardson.
Who?
Exactly. Daryl Richardson is their backup running back. He had to come in for a while. But
I think that's one of the co-managers.
I went to school with him.
He still played well, though. He still played well, man. Sam Bradford, I thought he was going to take a step up, but apparently
he's struggling. I don't know what needs to be done, but I got high hopes for Sam Bradford.
I don't know. I think he's one of the worst number 1 picks.
You're saying he's Tim Couch?
Oh, not that far.
Not that far.
I put him with Alex Smith. You know, he's on that level.
Hey, Alex Smith is on top right now.
Yeah, Alex Smith is not doing bad. He's tied. Well, he's second to the Arizona Cardinals. You know,
that didn't sound
49.
That didn't sound good.
Yeah.
That wasn't convincing. All right.
Nah.
Next up,
that isn't.
The Dallas Cowboys beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 16-10.
Another ugly game.
Yeah. Tampa Bay they're more competitive at least this year.
I mean, they're competitive, but to not be able to beat the Cowboys team that they didn't play well. Tony Romo had 2 picks, he had 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
Didn't look great. I just don't know what to expect from the Cowboys every week.
I hope the Cowboys still got their receipt for Dez Bryant because he's been disappointing me. Yeah. For as much hype as he gets, as much as they got spent for him, he's been extremely disappointing.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a playmaker, and he's not doing it. You know, Felix Jones too.
Felix Jones, he's not going to start anymore. It's DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, Felix Jones is just there just because of Jerry Jones.
Oh yeah, he's
that Arkansas connection.
I
really believe that's the only reason why he's still on the roster.
His stock has fallen big time in the last couple of years.
DeMarco Murray, he played very well that game. the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I like what they did in the offseason. Vincent Jackson is proving to be a very good receiver. He's giving Josh Freeman a go-to guy.
Josh Freeman hasn't played well.
Yeah. And also the running game hasn't been working for them like it did last year. Last year, that was one of their main moves.
They're inconsistent, just like the quarterback.
Yeah, they spend all their money on the D-line. Yeah. You gotta pick. They picked one or the other. They said, well, we're gonna go D-line. Offensive line.
Giants,
you got
just like the Giants.
Jeremy Sutter starting, that might not bode well.
And didn't Adrian Claiborne, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, he got injured. He's hurt. I think he's out for the season.
Yeah.
He got into a little injury.
Next up on the slate, the Atlanta Falcons beat the San Diego Chargers 27-3.
Them dirty boys.
In convincing fashion. Mr. Matt Ryan was 30 for 40, 275 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception.
There's nothing to say about this game. The only thing to say about this game is that another Falcon has been locked up.
You had to do that. Johnny Abraham got a little obstruction of justice 2 times. It's cool.
How the Falcons are doing so well. They beat the Chargers. There was no chance for the Chargers. All right, you had a little argument between Phillip Rivers and North Turner. There's obviously something wrong. They didn't play what they expected, and the Falcons jumped all over them like a freaking, panther, spider monkey, something like that.
A spider monkey. And we'll get to more of the Falcons later, of course. Next up on the slate, the Arizona Cardinals.
I called it.
Beat the Philadelphia Eagles.
I called it.
In convincing fashion, 27-6.
I don't know what to say about the Eagles except that if Michael Vick doesn't have the pocket awareness at this point where he goes back and he can't see a man coming towards his face, the side where he throws the ball. All right, like there was a red zone play where he just didn't see Terry Rhodes come. But he's on the side that his body's facing. How do you not see that?
Yeah.
Blew him up. All right.
Locked into his receiver. Locked into his receiver.
Blew him up and just, took a fumble return all the way to the house. You can't do that.
No.
You can't do that.
The Eagles got to tighten up. And again,
I think it's Michael Vick. I think Michael Vick needs to tighten up.
No, Michael Vick definitely. But that offensive line wouldn't make it in the SEC right now. So I definitely blame Michael Vick first.
It wouldn't make it in the whack.
1A is that offensive line. Definitely. So, yeah.
Is Wayne Hunter on the Eagles too?
He might as well be.
Hey, man.
He's the same jersey colors and everything.
Shout out to Arizona and also shout out to Larry Fitzgerald. He's the youngest player to reach 900 receptions. All right. I think this guy is Hall of Fame caliber.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely Hall of Fame.
He's only 29 years old, man. He still has a lot more.
He plays so well that you think he's older. You think Fitzgerald is in his 30s.
Yeah. He's humble. I love the comment he made in an interview. He said they asked him what was his first thought when he caught it, and he said the first thought was Jerry Rice, old number 80, has 1,600.
I like that though. I like that.
But, he knows what he has to do.
He says I have a long way to go.
Next up on the slate, the Pittsburgh Steelers fall to the Oakland Raiders. 34-31.
How?
The person I love,
Carson Palmer.
The person I love to hate.
I love Carson Palmer.
Actually played.
I like him.
He played well in the fourth quarter. He willed that team to a victory.
Carson Palmer can play.
Yeah.
Don't give me that shit.
Carson Palmer is a quarterback that directly is affected by his motivation. And I think as his motivation goes, so does Carson Palmer. When he's motivated, he plays well. When he's distraught, he plays like shit.
I think the replacement refs, somebody was an Oakland fan.
There we go.
Yeah.
One thing I gotta say about that game though, I thought the Raiders, I don't know how they won. I'm surprised.
That defense is serious.
It's serious, but Ben Roethlisberger was having his way. Ben Roethlisberger is turning out to be one of the more elite quarterbacks in the NFL.
He's always been elite. He just doesn't get the credit because he harasses women in bars in Georgia too much. But he's always been an elite quarterback. Always been an elite quarterback.
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
No, not at all. Just let the girls be willing. That's all. But next up on the slate, the Houston Texans beat the Denver Broncos 31-25. I don't think it's a shock to anybody.
Well, it was like I thought. I thought it was going to be a good game. I had the Broncos.
Yeah, it was a good game.
It was a very good game.
It was a good game.
There was some vicious hits, man. Matt Schaub took a hit to the head by Joe Mays. I thought that was a little,
Joe Mays was suspended.
He lost a piece of his ear.
Yeah, he lost a piece. That's a hit.
But speaking to the toughness of Matt Schaub, man.
Yeah, he just
came
got back up, man.
They said he didn't want to come out that play.
He didn't want to leave.
He didn't want to come out that one
play.
play.
He is unbelievable.
He was like, hey, coach, what's up? Let's do it. Give me that tape.
I wanted the TJ Yates, man.
You ready for Yates?
I was ready for TJ Yates, man.
And for those of y'all who don't know, Yates is the backup quarterback for the Texans, who pretty much took them into the playoffs last season. He was a rookie. I was about to say a freshman. He was a rookie, and he's here from Georgia, where we're at. He's out of Kennesaw, and he looks good. Yeah. He has a promising future.
Yeah.
Next up on the slate was a huge game, a very, very good game that we all predicted. The New England Patriots lost to the Baltimore Ravens 30-31 with a very, very controversial call at the end of the game.
Listen, the replacement refs had a very tough time last week. They had the Monday Night Football game, which they botched. But they also had the Sunday night game, which I thought that they handled well. It was a very close field goal to decide the game. Yeah. It was on the tip. It was very close.
Right on the tip of the upright.
You know, and I thought that shook. I think that shook the whole foundation of the replacement refs because you come out Monday night and it looks like these guys just didn't know what the hell they were doing.
Yeah, the Sunday night game set it up for Monday.
Yeah,
it set it up for
Monday.
Monday.
And I mean, even Bill Belichick wound up getting fined for it, $50,000, which, you know, of course, I feel he should have been suspended for at least 5 games. But they decided to.
This man loves to hate Bill Belichick.
I think we all have those players. You have your Carson Palmer. He has Belichick,
but it's not.
You have Joe Johnson.
I have Rex Grossman.
Grossman.
I'm Joe Johnson.
I'm Joe Johnson, but we're just not on NBA right now. Joe Johnson gonna twist his ankle in week 2 of the NBA season, and they're gonna lose him that investment. But anyway. We're gonna transfer over, and that was a slate of games for last week. Next up, we're gonna go to our individual teams. We're gonna start with the Jets. You know, the biggest news coming out of the Jets is they lost their stalwart again, Darrelle Revis. So give me your take on last week's game.
The Jets have no idea what the hell they're doing on offense. The Wildcat is a total bust. I don't know what they were hiding.
I don't understand
during the
run
preseason.
The Wildcat against the Dolphins, the team that opened it up. Like they reintroduced it to the NFL. I don't know why you want to run it against them.
Sanchez right now is very, very inconsistent.
What was his numbers like last week?
His numbers were very, very pedestrian. Very like he was. I mean, he threw for like 50% completion rate.
He was a little under. He was like about 50%.
Around 50%.
My whole thing was it's not that Mark Sanchez. I just feel like this whole Jets offense is very mediocre. You look at the players that we have. When Santonio Holmes is your number one guy, no, we disrespect Santonio Holmes. I think he's a great talent. You know, I just don't think that he's like one of the premier elite receivers we have in the NFL.
He definitely looked better in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Oh, he's motivated.
He definitely looked better.
He's another player that needs motivation. When he's motivated, yeah.
He doesn't have a lot of competition with the Jets. I mean, Stephen Hill and Curley, but you know,
Chad Schilling.
He's not being pushed like he was in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, they always keep an up and coming receiver. Yeah. Always, and they got speed.
Right.
So he always had that's why I think it wasn't big for them to let him go. They're like, all right, go ahead.
Yeah. It's right now the defense. Because of the Darrelle Revis injury, has got to step up big time.
Yeah.
Note to Mike Pettin. Okay, put on an APB and look for a fucking pass rush, man. Somebody to get to the quarterback, just to put a hand in his face. There's nothing going on pass rush wise. The whole front line has to own up to it. And right now, with Revis out, they're really going to have to do it. Because if not, the whole season will go into the tank.
Because I expected huge things out of that pairing of Wilkerson and Copels.
Yeah.
On paper, to me, they look good.
Wilkerson, Copels, and for me, Wilkerson, Copels, and Kendrick Ellis, and then throw Sione Pua in there when you want to do a 4-3.
Yeah.
I thought that was like beautiful, man. Let's go. Let's fucking, strap him up.
Copels has been struggling out the gate.
See, my whole thing
He's been invisible.
My whole thing is, I'm not upset about the defense of the New York Jets. I think that the defense is there at times, but I think they'll get it together. You have Rex Ryan as our coach. He's a defensive guru. Defensive guru. You know, I don't think that's the problem. I think our problem is that the Jets continually want to talk themselves as a ground and pound team, as if we can run the ball.
They're not ground and pound.
The Jets cannot run the ball.
They're not ground and pound. They don't have the personnel.
When you have Sean Green and you continually push him like he's a starting running back in the NFL. He's not. He's a number 2 at best.
If you're gonna go ground and pound, you gotta put Tebow at fullback.
I mean, you need something, and like I said last week, I don't think they're using Tebow right. They had him going out for a pass against the Dolphins. Sanchez threw the ball that hit his head. I mean, we're the laughing stock of the NFL. I am very upset.
I wouldn't go that far.
I think we are.
I wouldn't say y'all the laughing stock, but I just think what people expected out of the Jets, it hasn't hit the bar.
Yeah.
It hasn't hit the bar.
Yeah. I disagree. I think people see this as clowns. I think that week 1 Daily Post back cover page where they had the Giants, in their Super Bowl parade, and they had the Jets in the little clown car. I think that hits it on the nose. I think that's how the rest of the nation sees the New York Jets.
I think it is. I think you are correct. They're not using Tebow right. No. If you're gonna spend the pick on him, and he's on your roster,
and you spend a pick on him when we still need players.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to use him.
I can see if a team like the Ravens took a chance on Tebow, like, oh, our team's already straight. Let's get Tebow. Just because. But no, the Jets aren't like that. We still have problems, all right?
Yeah.
A lot of problems.
And I mean, even Mike Greenberg from Mike and Mike in the morning on ESPN, who's a big-time Jet fan, he was like, he was saying, I could predict the plays whenever they brought in Tebow. I knew what was going to happen. So why would the other team be, surprised at what comes? I mean, it's so unimaginative. They'll put him and Sanchez out there, and I'm like, why not put him, Sanchez, and Curley out there? Curley ran the Wildcat last year. Yeah. You can snap it to any of them, okay? And then let's see what happens. Now that's deception. Yeah. There's no deception to this.
It's Tony Sparano. Tony Sparano with the Dolphins. The Wildcat was very cut and dry.
Yeah.
It was snap the ball, hit the running back, run.
Yeah. Ronnie Brown is going to beat you.
Ronnie Brown's going to beat you. Ricky Williams is going to beat you. Yeah. And I think that's what he's trying to do with the Jets, but he doesn't have the personnel.
No.
He doesn't have the running back. He doesn't have that force that can get upfield. Bilal Powell showed flashes last week. All right. I hate Sean Green as I hate Carlton Palmer. Also as I hate John.
He can't stand Sean Green.
I like Sean Green, but again, I don't think he's being utilized enough.
I feel that he's had enough rushes where he could be. He had 22 rushes. He only had about 40 some odd yards.
Oh no!
I mean, I don't know what else you got to do for the man. I'm sorry, I don't think he had 22. I think he had like 15 somewhere around there. But still,
yeah.
He's not averaging carries per rush, and Bilal Powell.
Yeah, his yardage per rush is around 2.5.
Bilal Powell comes in. He had a less amount of touches, 10 touches.
Yeah.
But he gets the same amount of yards as Sean Green. You got to put in Bilal Powell, man.
Yeah, man.
You got to put in Bilal Powell.
You got to play with who's playing.
And I think that's why really that they just picked up this Jonathan Grimes guy. Because I feel that they see that our running back situation.
They're not getting the production.
It is not ideal.
No.
It's not. And I would feel really good if this Jonathan Grimes guy. I've never seen him play. I want to see what he can do this week. But I really want to see something out of him. I'm hoping that they chose the right guy, maybe that can help out this running back core, which is very abysmal. It's an abysmal.
Well, who do y'all got this upcoming week?
Well, we have the San Francisco 49ers. Followed by the Houston Texans.
The Jets have a tough couple.
And then after that, I believe I got the Patriots, don't you?
And followed very closely by the Patriots. We still have 2 games to play the Patriots.
Yeah.
But see, I think that this is a game. I think last week we saw the flaws in the 49ers.
Oh, they gotta play off that. You have to use that to your advantage because the Vikings blew the gate open on the 49ers.
Well, I mean,
the 49ers were a locked Super Bowl pick before last week.
But the Jets are at home. I really want to see this 12th man come into play. I think that people of New York are sick and tired of this. Sick and tired of being a laughing stock. I just don't feel respect for my team. I don't feel that this team is playoff worthy.
But they're 2-1, and they're in the co-lead in the AL in the AFC East.
They're in the lead. They beat the Bills, so they're in the lead.
They're actually first.
I think this would be a huge statement game for y'all. If y'all can get this W on top of San Francisco, it'll be huge. And then going into the schedule that y'all got, need that, man.
I don't see it. I see the 49ers coming in really pissed after losing to the Vikings.
Yeah.
Oh, I think the 49ers are going to come they're going to come fire.
The key is 2 things that I can see big for the Jets. Run defense, because they're going to run the ball with those 4 running backs. And you got to get on top of Alex Smith.
They have the Jets have one of the worst rushing defenses in the league. Okay, C.J. Spiller ate our asses up.
Reggie
Bush was in the process of eating our asses up before he got hurt.
Kendall Hunter, Brandon Jacobs,
all of them. They're all coming. Vernon Davis.
Well, that's the big quote this week that Ray Ryan said Vernon Davis is the best tight end in the NFL. I'll agree with him to a point because I think he's arguably the best. I think it's him, Gronk, and Graham. You know, they're in a class by themselves.
Absolutely.
You know, but he's arguably one of the best.
I
don't know why they're giving him so much slack. It's like, you know, people think that everything that somebody says is, you know, a big deal.
I mean, but that's where we're at right now. You know, so how do y'all call the game? What's the score in that game before we continue to move forward?
I am choosing the Jets. I'm choosing the Jets in a defensive grind. You know, I think last week we saw that the 49ers, that people want to make them seem like they're a great offense, they have a tough time scoring sometimes. Mm-hmm. And if Frank Gore isn't running the ball effectively, the only guy they really have left is Vernon Davis.
Yeah. You know, because their receivers haven't paid dividends like everybody thought.
Randy Moss
has been extremely quiet.
Michael Crabtree, fuck out of here.
Mario Manningham
hasn't even been existing.
Yeah, has he gotten off the bench?
I haven't seen him.
I think this is going to be a huge game for Cromartie and Kyle Wilson. This is a chance for them to make a statement.
I mean, if they can make a statement right here, I think they can do it. I think
they can do it. I mean, I know Lewis lost all hope.
I mean, he's lost all hope, but I have the Jets winning very close. I'm choosing the Jets. Of course, I'm a Jets fan. I'm gonna pick the Jets all the time, so don't even get it twisted.
Right.
No matter what the game is, I have the Jets going 16-0 this season. But I have the Jets winning in very close fashion. I think it's a low-scoring game. Something like 14-12, something like that.
49ers 28, Jets 13. And they'll be lucky if they get 13. I think the defense will score the touchdown. The rest will be field goals. I don't feel the offense at all. And Stephen Hill is probably not going to play. So you have a lot of issues injury wise. I just don't like the mix right now. I don't think the offensive line is there. I don't think the offense in general with Sperano is not clicking. You know, and
it doesn't seem like the players have taken to it.
No,
I'm gonna actually go with Vinny. I'm gonna say 13-10 Jets.
I love it.
And I think Tebow gets his first rushing touchdown.
Woo! A Tebow reference.
And I think that Cromartie gets an interception for a touchdown.
Whoa! He blew me out of the water.
So go ahead and
what the hell is in this bottle?
Go ahead and mark me with it. I'm gonna stand on that statement, and I think, like you said, I think the defense is gonna prove big this week because San Francisco is not perfect as everybody thinks. And if you
they get a lot more credit for their offense.
Yeah, if you get Alex Smith, what was that playoff run last year? It was the playoff run.
And the fact that they played so well against the Packers, who people forget have the worst passing defense in the NFL.
But I think if you can get under Alex Smith's skin, that'll control the whole game. That'll be big because he's not that great.
He's going to have all day to throw. He's going to be back there and he's just going to be picking his spots. It doesn't matter what Cromartie.
I feel that even if that's the case, Alex Smith is not that good of a quarterback where him doing that scares me.
Any quarterback.
That doesn't scare
you know, Rex Grossman, if he has time.
No. Fuck out of here. No. Are you telling me if I give freaking Brandon Whedon time that he's going to play well? He's not. He's not going to play.
I'm not talking about Brandon Whedon. We're talking about Alex Smith.
You said any quarterback.
Any quarterback. Sure, on any given Sunday. Didn't you say that?
Yes, but no.
Oh, yes, but no.
Yes, but no.
No, but we're talking about Alex Smith. Alex Smith is not even in the upper tier, man.
He's not in the upper tier, but he is a serviceable runner, a serviceable quarterback.
The Jet secondary who deals with a Mark Sanchez.
I'm not talking about the Jet secondary. The Jet front line isn't even going to get to him.
Even if he doesn't,
the back of his jersey is going to be clean.
The secondary is good enough where if he does come clean, if he doesn't get sacked, who the fuck is he going to throw it to besides motherfucking Vernon Davis?
Man, he could throw it in the flat to Frank Gore, and Frank Gore will take it to the house.
See, I think he's underestimating the Jets defense, and I find he's terrible. As a New York Jets fan, I am very disgusted.
He's irritated right now. He's irritated. It's cool. We're going to move on. I'm going to shift over to my ATL Falcons to bring a little sunshine in the room.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine.
My Falcons, we had the Carolina Panthers this week. And I think the biggest key to this game is not underestimating the Panthers.
I don't think the Falcons.
The 1-2 Panthers.
I don't think
seriously though,
who've given up 79 points and have scored a mere 52. Didn't the Falcons get that last week?
Well, I'm trying to approach every game with a clear head, and I see the team's strength. You don't want to when Cam rushes for more than 50 yards. I think the Panthers, they said something like 6-1, but when he rushed for under, they're 1-9.
Well, one thing the Falcons have done in these wins that they've had, they've done very well against the rush. They played the Chiefs with Jamal Charles. They played the Broncos with Willis McGahee.
Yeah.
They played some very good running backs. The Chargers, their running game has been iffy. It'll be interesting to see if Parade Jerry and Jonathan Babineau can keep up in that front, because Parade Jerry played a very good game last week with the Chargers. So did Babineau.
And he's not even a starter. He should be, but Corey Peters has been starting. But Parade outplayed him last week.
Yeah, he outplayed him last week. So I want to see if they can keep it up. It'll be interesting to see if the Cam Newton rushing offense can get started, because they were totally shut out last week.
Yeah, Cam hasn't looked like Cam.
Well, I mean, I thought the Giants had players that a lot of teams don't have. They have those very athletic defensive ends. Your Tuck, JPP.
That defensive line is outstanding.
So I want to see if the Falcons, their defensive end, can keep Cam honest.
Well, we haven't made any statements yet. I mean, John Abraham and Babineau are tied with the team high. Both have 2 sacks.
Okay.
Atlanta versus Carolina through the series, they're up 22-12 over the past couple of years. Of course, we're at home. We're 27-6 at home, so that works in our favor. And actually, Mike Smith, at some point this season, I believe in the next 3 or 4 games, will pass Dan Reeves as the winningest coach in Falcons history.
The fact that Dan Reeves is the winningest coach.
Hey, man. It says a lot.
All right, Falcons fans, grow a set of balls, okay? Take your panties off, all right? The Panthers have dropped their last 4 visits to Atlanta, okay? The Atlanta secondary has produced a league high 7 interceptions in Mike Nolan's scheme. Cam, if you haven't hired a psychiatrist yet, you might be needing one after this one, because I think you're going to be seeing number 56 in red.
Spoon!
I don't think this loss is going to be attributed to the fact that Cam Newton can't produce. I just think it's the fact that the Carolina defense can't keep up with this Atlanta offense.
I've been disappointed with their defense. I thought they were going to be better.
I didn't think they were going to be better. I thought Kuechly was a good addition, but there's still a lot of issues.
And Josh Norman, you better pull him up. Because if you think Ramsey Barton was bad last week, you better pull him up, buddy. The Falcons have only started 4-0 twice in history. They started 4-0 in 04, and before that was 1986. And the Falcons have never started 5-0. So, we got something to shoot for. Our defense, like Lou said, is in front right now with 11 takeaways.
They've impressed me. William Moore, man, he looks like a real early pick. He's one of my early picks to represent the NFC in the Pro Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Stephen Nicholas is our leading tackler right now with 21 tackles. He's playing great. Matt Ryan, his stats, he's thrown for 793 yards, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception. Roddy White is our leading receiver with 244 yards and a touchdown. He's averaging 12.8 a catch.
Man, we all know this, man. We all know the Falcons are not going to have trouble against this Panthers team. I would be shocked if they do, And that would.
But Carolina has some good defensive ends with Charles Johnson and Greg Hardy.
They haven't done shit yet.
Charles Johnson has. Greg Hardy played okay.
They've lost too.
Austin Howard locked up Charles Johnson.
Yeah. But Austin Howard has proven to be a good player. So that's not saying it. That's not saying it, because Austin Howard is playing well. But I'm looking forward for my buddy that I brought up last week, my boy Robert McClain. I'm hoping he gets some more love this week, because I'll say he's a first-year player and he looks well, and our secondary can always use him.
Well, I think that Falcons fans they're riding the wave right now. They're riding the wave. The Falcons are on high.
Anything you can do to shoot us down is fine.
I'm not shooting a stone at them. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? The Falcons are just like the Braves. Wait till the postseason.
Yeah.
Okay, keep it to, because we know what they can do in the regular season.
We got to get that postseason.
Yeah, we know what they can do. This is a team that everybody's.
Because they have this division. Okay, the Falcons are 3-0. Tampa's 1-2. Carolina's 1-2, and the Saints are 0-3.
Every time I hear that, it's like
y'all should have no trouble, man. Like the Saints were the only team that I thought could be a possible,
So the division should be
A lot.
You know what I'm saying?
Now it's all about home field advantage, and if when y'all get to the playoffs, you have a game.
They get to 10 games, they'll already have the division.
Our next couple games, our schedule gets a little weak. The next 4 or 5 games, and then at the end of the season, it picks back up to a heavier schedule. So
see, that'll be interesting to see if they can keep up this.
Yeah, it's gonna be the consistency is gonna be huge. I'm gonna move on quickly because our time, as usual, we get up there. The Detroit Lions. We're not gonna go back over that game. They got the Minnesota Vikings this week.
I think the Minnesota Vikings, man, are the real deal. They have a player in each position that is on offense that is very good. Their defense is still one of the most, have the better defensive lines than Jared Allen and Kevin Williams. These guys are still playing, and they're still good. I
gotta apologize to Christian Ponder because I didn't give him a shot.
I feel that rookie quarterbacks, like, they're put in a position where they can't succeed in their first year. I mean, Cam Newton is the one and
But I mean, even this year, second year, I didn't see him as taking a step, period. I thought he was just going to be middling.
Well, he's never had a chance to actually play against Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
Having Adrian Peterson is such a cushion. You know, teams have to.
They have to honor him.
They have to.
And I'm worried about my secondary against Kyle Rudolph. Kyle Rudolph is Christian Ponder's top target.
And Percy Harvin's top target, but Kyle Rudolph has been doing well.
No. Kyle Rudolph has more catches.
Well, he has more catches?
He has more catches. Percy has the most at his position.
Oh, at the receiver position.
At the receiver position, but
Besides
overall, yeah. Kyle Rudolph has more.
Kyle Rudolph, man, he's looked very good. Prospect of Notre Dame. He's looking like one of the big time tight ends, man. You know, fantasy leagues everywhere have been on the hunt for Kyle Rudolph. Having AD, having Kyle Rudolph, and having Percy Harvin.
Yeah, that's big.
That trio is very nice.
I need Stafford to step up. Stafford thus far has 863 yards. He's thrown 3 TDs and 4 picks.
I think it's that offensive line.
If he's there.
I don't think the offensive
line. If he's there. If not, it'll be Sean Hill.
I don't think the offensive line has given him a lot of help. You know.
But they haven't been terrible. They've been average. I'll say that. They've been average. But definitely enough to win. We need more out of our offense. You know, after Calvin Johnson, the production drops off.
I mean, there's just been some very bad plays. Brandon Pettigrew has to step up from last week. He made some very bad plays. McCullough Shore, having a running game is going to change his whole scheme.
That'll definitely help.
Well, a key too is I just noticed in some of the notes that I have is that the Vikings are third in the NFL with 4 rushing plays of 20 plus yards. They rank 29th in completions of 20 plus yards. So if you stop the run, again, AD, you stop that run.
I don't think anybody, I think that the Detroit Lions defense, in their front line, they have a good shot at stopping the run. But I think that this is a chance for Christian Ponder to really show that he's someone to watch out for.
That secondary is my hugest issue.
I think AD's going to have one of his regular games where he gets close to 100 yards, maybe not reaches there, because I don't think anybody can really stop him. I think he'll still, be close to 100 yards. But I think Christian Ponder's going to be the one to shine.
Yeah, he's going to take this game over. Hopefully, not.
So you got the Lions losing.
I don't have them losing, but I know for a fact Christian Ponder is going to play great just coming out of last week because he's riding that confidence. So I'm going to need somebody to play big. You know, I'm hoping. I like definitely with our defense. I like Justin Durant. I like our linebackers. Steven Tuller, Justin Durant.
I mean, I would like to see them upgrade, but they're solid.
Well, Justin Durant, he's very good in coverage. He's our best coverage linebacker.
He's their best coverage player, apparently.
Period.
It's a huge game because this is the first division game for both teams.
Yeah.
Minnesota's in front, tied with the Bears with a 2-1 record. Green Bay and Detroit are tied at 1-2.
That NFC North division has been busted wide open because I felt that the Packers were going to be either.
It's upside down.
It is upside down.
It is upside down. You could have said at the start of the season, Detroit, Green Bay, Chicago, Minnesota holding up the bottom. You would have believed it, but it's the other way around.
No, that's what you love about the NFL, though.
Yeah,
that's what you love about the parity thing, man.
Mm-hmm.
You never can truly call it.
No, you can't.
You know, so that's pretty much it for my team. So we're gonna keep going with the slate for this week. You know, since we've been rolling with all the games, we cover who the Jets are playing, we cover who the Falcons are playing, we cover who the Lions are playing. Next up on the slate this week, you got the 0-3 Cleveland Browns versus the 2-1 Baltimore Ravens, and Baltimore is at home.
And they're pissed.
We're at this game tonight, man. The Ravens should have no problem. I mean, we saw Torrey Smith last week. He had an excellent game. he's turned into a very
shout out to Torrey Smith.
Shout out to Torrey Smith. He had a tragedy in the family. His little brother got killed in a motorcycle accident. Condolences to their family and all that. But he played a great game. Showed real respect to his brother. One of the breakout games of last week. This should be a no-brainer. The Ravens should come out and dominate this game. The Browns don't have a shot.
No, they don't. Unless Trent Richardson is going to rush for 400 yards. It's not looking good.
I mean, I see Ed Reed getting the pick. I see Ray Lewis getting the pick. I see Haloti Nada maybe getting the pick.
Man.
Brandon Whedon's going to have a very tough time.
Is Chris Carr out there suited up?
Is Colt McCoy